Here we are, the Freebirds Sports Show with none other than, as I always say, the incredible, phenomenal, over-the-top voice of Todd Kuhnen.
Bob?
Tuned in Kuhnen. He's tuned in.
Todd 93 Kuhnen. That's the name. 93 Kuhnen. And boy, what a season we have had this year with the Freebirds in the Pioneer League. We got a lot to talk about because we are right up at the halfway point.
Yeah.
We are at the halfway point, and the record isn't where we'd like it to be, but folks, help is on the way in terms of after, I think tonight or tomorrow is the halfway point, and then it's a reset. And we'll explain how things happen in the Pioneer League with regard to the playoff push and how this is different than what you would see in Major League Baseball, for example, the San Francisco Giants right now. People look at the San Francisco Giants record right now, and everybody's saying, all right, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and just play for next year. We'll see if we can trade off some of our stars, save some money in the salary, in our salary department, and then go ahead and try to pick up some new talent and save. And that's the way it is at the Major League level.
They called you, didn't they?
They did. They did. But that is not how things happen in the Pioneer League. In the Pioneer League, they have a first half. The first half of the season, who won all the marbles for the first half? By the way, the Long Beach Coast are the winners of the first half of the season. And then at the halfway point, everything resets, and now the fight is for the second half winner. And in the playoffs, come September, the first half winners play the second half winners for all the marbles. And so everything has been reset for the Freebirds. We are starting fresh, making a second half of the season push, and I think that explains why you've seen some of the decisions that manager Frank Gonzalez has made.
Maybe good decisions.
Good, yeah. So some
in my opinion,
you might look at some of them and say, "Boy, why did he leave that pitcher in for this long? And how come you did this? How come you did that?" Well, he's treating this like an extended spring training to see who are his horses that he's going to ride second half of the season.
Well, that's part of it. The other part is he refuses to call up in the booth and get our advice.
He does.
I don't know why.
Because we're right there.
We're seeing the big picture, Frank.
I'm not on his speed dial,
Exactly. It's so easy. I don't know if you do it, but I've been a Cardinals fan forever. And, Ali Mama will make some decision, and I'm at home. Now, Ali can't hear me. And on some days, that's probably good. Probably good. But it's like we all kind of do that. And I think with the Freebirds, it's really easy because we're watching the game. But the point you just brought up is once you understand, we're going to conclude the first half.
Yes.
Frank Gonzalez has got to make decisions that move him in a significant changed position to run that second half. And so, it'd be really great. We'll try to get him on, folks, see if we can't get Frank in and talk a little bit about that. It's really hard to get him up in the booth, but we're playing. He insists on managing.
I know. Come on, Frank, where are your priorities? We'd love to have you up in the booth. I know you have this job that you're doing. You got this thing going on down there, but there are some stats that I pulled that to me are telling for the first half of the season. So you take a look at the Freebirds record, and after the first half of the season, coming into tonight or after last night's ball games, they are 15-31 on the season, which means they've played 46 games on the season. And you look, 15-31. But here's something that just jumps right off the stat page to me. Of those 46 games that they've played, 18 of them have been against the Long Beach Coast. So a third of your games have been against the Long Beach Coast, which, by the way, is the best team in the league.
And has a number of our players from last
They
year.
do. An inordinate. The Long Beach Coast right now are probably 60-70% of their team are last year's Idaho Falls Chuckers, because their manager, Troy Percival, was the manager for the Idaho Falls Chuckers last year. By the way, I didn't notice this earlier. Third base coach for the Long Beach Coast is former Major League Baseball MVP Troy Gloss. Is managing.
Oh, yeah, somebody said that. Yeah.
He's third base coach for them, and so you've got this ball club that is made up of last year's Idaho Falls Chuckers squad, and then they poached our top performers from the High Wheelers last year, notably Cuba Bess and Brett Wozniak. That's our power hitter
Wizard
and our
Woz.
best pitcher.
I hope he heard that.
Yeah. He's going to meet you in the back alley with a lead pipe.
He doesn't like that. Well,
what he liked? What was the name he liked?
Oh, he had
the Bulldog,
the Iceman.
The Iceman.
That was it. And he said they had started calling him that, I guess, in college.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, fittingly. I mean, he is.
But we didn't like it. We changed it.
So our ball club, the one ball club that we faced the most is Long Beach Coast.
Yeah.
We faced them 18 games. But 18 goes into 46, probably a little bit more than a third of our games. Probably, it's not a half, but it's a significant number of games we've played against one ball club. And it happens to be the leader of the league. But we've really come on in the last 8 games. We'll get to that in just a second.
Now, do we play them in the second half?
We do not. We do not.
Oh my gosh!
Well, we might play them down there. I know that Joey Miller, the voice of the Long Beach Coast, sent me a text and says, "Well, you guys are going to have to do me a favor and make it to the postseason, because that is the next time that he has the potential." I wanted to get him up here, maybe call a game, have him sit in.
That'd be awesome.
He's doing that in Modesto right now. They went up and they kind of took over the broadcast booth in Modesto because that's what they're playing, but. We play a large number of games against the Oakland Ballers, and the Ballers are kind of they're similar to us in terms of where they're at in the standings.
They were the ones to beat last year. They actually took all the marbles last year.
Yeah.
And but the year before that, we took all the marbles from the Ballers. So they were gunning for us last year.
It's interesting when you look at it that way, because here you've got 2 years ago, the High Wheelers were the brand new team. The High Wheelers and the Ballers were the two brand new teams in the league, and the High Wheelers and Ballers played each other in the championship series with the High Wheelers winning. Last year, it was the Ballers' turn to win it all. And this year, the team that is tops in the league is a newcomer to the league in the Long Beach Coast, their first season. And so you've kind of got this theme here of the newcomer to the league is the one that is playing for everything. And yeah, I think it's a testament to scouting and what have you. The nature of the Pioneer League isn't really one of those where you can have these players that have been with your team for 4, 5, 6 years, and they're the ones that you really build around, because the nature of the league is always new talent and the way that it's working.
Well, and we had 2 teams in California.
Yes.
Now we got 4 teams, and next year they're planning on 6 teams. Chico will pick up a team, and Irvine will pick up a team. That's huge for California teams, and honestly, we've got a lot of kids that could use that opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And you add 2 teams,
And there's going to be the opportunity for even more players to be available this week, or I think it's this week, is the Major League Baseball draft.
That's right.
And so what's going to happen, there's a lot of kids that just finished up college that held off on signing in the Pioneer League because they want to see where they're going in the draft. Well, the draft is happening this week, and then after that, the kids that did not get drafted will then be available to come to the Pioneer League. And coincidentally, the mid-season tryout camp that's going to be happening here at Bryant Field is going to occur. So you're going to have all these guys that didn't get drafted are now available, and I think that we could see some very talented ball players coming to the club as a result of that tryout camp.
Do you know when that tryout camp's going to be?
I think it's around the 17th, 18th
of this month.
Of this month.
Wow!
In fact, if you,
I think that's about the same time as the Peach Festival.
It could be
probably that weekend,
and we'll be fighting for spots on the Peach Festival, obviously. Let me go ahead and bring that up. But, Bob, I think we can go ahead, while I'm looking at this, we can go ahead and start to run at where things are in terms of the Freebirds and essentially take a look at who the top performers have been for the Freebirds through the first half of the league. I had a chance to take a look at generate, if you will, a report card for the Freebirds.
A report card. That sounds funny. These kids have just come out of college. Here's their report card.
So in terms of a report card for the Freebirds, their offense. The offense is probably the biggest strength for the ball club. And right now, it's sort of uneven, but we'd give their offense about a B, a solid B. For the offense for the ball club. One of the things that they're able to do is they're able to produce runs going up until July. So May and June, they were averaging 6.7 runs per game. But in July, they upped that to almost 10 runs per game. And so they've had a definite increase in terms of in terms of the amount of runs that they can produce. And then the question is, okay, so those are the hits. What happens when you get on base? And Josh Duarte was leading the ball club. Boy, still love to take a look at him, see what's happening with that knee. Duarte was carrying the ball club with a .469 on base percentage. So they even if they're not getting hits, they're getting on base. And once they're able to get on base, what can they do once they get there? And they haven't had too many base running miscues, but once somebody gets on base, then the next question is who's going to knock them in? And old reliable Zach Chamizo.
Yeah.
He leads the way in terms of power and production. Give them a B+ on that. Chamizo was the top producer, and then up until July for May and June, and then in July, all he did was over the next 8 games add 12 RBIs. But we have a newcomer to the ball club that has really been coming on, and one that you and I initially were kind of concerned about.
But he's not going to make it.
Yeah, but
you actually passed me a note, and we're both thinking, this is why Frank Gonzalez should not listen to us.
Exactly.
Because we were thinking, gosh, every time he came up to bat, it was like he was just struggling. He couldn't get his footing. And then all of a sudden, he
broke out of that slump in a heartbeat.
Oh, my gosh.
And now he's hitting over 500, and that's Andrew Kirshner.
Yeah.
The guy he's come in and playing first base. They put him out in right field once. When he played out in right field, what we really saw was his arm. An absolute cannon for an arm. He had 3 plays where the guys are trying to take third base, and the plays were a lot closer than they needed to be. I mean, the guy's sliding, not even sliding into third, going and standing up, and it's amazing to see the look of shock on a guy's face where he goes in standing up, and immediately he hears the third baseman catching the ball and realizing that he got there just a split second ahead of the throw.
I think sometimes when we think somebody's really got an arm, man, they can go to distance. They can be way out against the wall and hit third base. But that wasn't the only issue. He could hit it accurately.
Yes.
That's what made the difference. And I think that's going to be huge for them to have that. And the other thing is a lot of their players are like utility players. They can move them around.
Absolutely.
And we've seen that. So the skill set is, so if a guy has got a great glove but he doesn't have an arm, he doesn't have to be in the outfield. Frank Gonzalez gets a lot of freedom to move these players around.
He does. You've got Zach Chamizo that has been the designated hitter, a second baseman. We've seen him play in the outfield. We've seen him play over at first base. Heck, we've even seen him pitch.
I was going to say, we've even seen that guy pitch.
So,
and I was like, He's got an arm.
And he's got an arm because he was hitting mid-80s. So you got Chamizo. Then you got Donahue.
Yeah.
Donahue, we've seen him in left. We've seen him at short. We've seen him at second. We've seen him over at third base. Who else? Duarte. We've seen him at third base. We've seen him out in left field. Just a lot of Christian Castaneda, right field, second base. Just a lot of versatility there with the ball players that we've got. By the way, that tryout camp that you were asking about, the tryouts for the midseason, that would be the 17th and the 18th, so just about a week from now. 17th and the 18th over at Bryant Field. And so we're going to have representatives from all of the Pioneer League baseball clubs in town, their scouts in town, to watch what happens over at the tryout camp. I'd like to get over there and take a look just to see these guys run through everything they've got going on.
Well, I'm looking at your scorecard here, and
yes.
I'm going to let you take it through pitching and bullpen, but it encourages me that I really should forget about playing shortstop. I need to go put in to be a pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
I can get that ball up to 35 mile an hour. I mean, I'm throwing heat.
Well, these guys are dialed in for that fast pitch, and so the slow ball they can't slow it down.
Can they handle underhanded?
You mentioned pitching, and that has been the Achilles heel for the ball club. If you gave them a scorecard, now, truth be told, I took their stats and I ran them through our new stat guy, Chet Jippity. Chat GPT went assessed scores for these based upon the first half performance, just looking at box scores and things like that. And ChatGPT was what gave us the report. And they gave offense a B, on base percentage, lineup pressure a B plus, power and run production a B plus. I don't disagree with any of those grades.
No.
Then we get to starting pitching, and look, it was harsh. What did they give him?
Yeah, D plus.
D plus for pitching.
Sounds like my high school.
And
my highest grade in high school.
And the issue here with the pitching was there were too many games where the bullpen was forced to come in too early. We have some premier talent in the bullpen in Sean Weiss, Corbin Barker, and Tristan Wolfe. I mean, just absolute awesome talent. Those guys can pitch. But if you're going to the bullpen in the third, fourth inning and doing that repeatedly, you're wearing those arms out. Absolutely wearing them out.
So, obviously, we picked up some new pitching.
We did.
I just want to say that this isn't going to have that in there, and that's my first thought is Chase Martinez, and it's like that guy lights out. He came in and he's really good. So I just want to remind the folks these stats, what we're reading, is covering the whole first half, and so some of the pitching that we picked up later is not going to be reflective in here yet.
And some of the pitching that we picked up later, to be honest, didn't work, and those guys have already been released. Like Brenton Fields, our 7-footer, came in, and we had high hopes, but for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. Was giving up too many runs, and he was released last week. We did, however, re-sign a player that we had released previously, in Aguiar.
Yep.
He came in, we released him, but then re-signed him after Fields was released. And so they're still tweaking things, and really, I think, looking forward to this tryout camp, because arms come at a premium. And, I mean, it's just amazing what a quality starting pitcher can do to come in. You talk about Chase Martinez. He came in, we were playing the Long Beach Coast, and he shut that lineup down.
Yeah,
absolutely shut that lineup down.
We were like up there going, who is this guy?
Yeah, and he had just been signed to the ball club, so he comes in and gets it done. And if we can pick up another arm or two like that in the draft, I think that will really help us out moving forward.
I just want to real quick thanks Dan Flores, Keith Burwell. They're currently watching the program. Hi, fellas. I hope that you're enjoying this because it's a little different to just hear us on the radio and see these incredible two men right here. We know you're just thrilled, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate having you join in, and feel free if you're tuning in. You go over to the chat button. We've got our engineer extraordinaire here that can let us know your comments in the chat button, the chat line. You can also reach us on our text line. We'll open up the Freebird text line. If you want to participate during the show, you can reach us at 916-318-6562. That's 916-318-6562. And if you have a comment and it's something that we can share online, we'll be happy to go ahead and take a look at that comment so we can have you participate with the program.
I did want to just mention, because everything can shift. The baseball out there has just been great baseball. So although we're telling you the stats, you have to get out. If you haven't gotten out and seen a game, you need to get out and see a game. I'm just saying, because we've seen web gems that I'm telling you, ESPN should be picking them up. We've seen plays that are just unbelievable from these young men. So it's not like, well, they're college players or they're this or this, that. These guys are playing to make the majors. It's what they're doing, and they're playing like they were already in the majors. So I just want to throw that out there, Todd.
And I think the thing that we really want to pay attention to here is we've had some spots in the season. Obviously, you look at the record, and it's not where we'd like it to be. But this is not. Sometimes you get a team and their record is 15-31, and you look at it and you say to yourself, well, that's really indicative of that's the best that they can do. And every time they play a ball club, whatever ball club it is that's here is just going to walk all over them. And that is not the case. The Freebirds ball club right now is really good. And it's not one of those that's kind of mediocre with flashes of greatness. It's a great ball club with flashes of less than optimal plays that sometimes are hard to recover. But if they can put it together and be consistent, playing at the caliber that they know that they can play at, that they have shown that they can play at, this ball club's is gonna go places and have a fantastic second half of the season, and you can come out and watch it and be part of that ride.
I was watching the game against the Coast, one of the games, and I'm not going to remember the announcer's name again. Tell me one more.
Joey Miller.
Yeah, Joey Miller. So he made this statement. He said that they had beaten the Freebirds more time. He said, but no other team has scored as many runs against them as the Freebirds. Folks, our problem is not hitting.
Yeah.
Our problem is getting some pitching. Once we can hold the other teams back, man, there's no stopping us. And I think that's what everybody will be looking for.
Absolutely. And the other thing that's really nice about this ball club is if you come out to the ball game, you got your players that you can go ahead and follow. And then if you want autographs, if you want to meet those ball players, they are made available immediately after the ball game. Last week, they had the watch party and the chats out there, and as soon as the game was over with, it happened to be the event that night where the fans got to go out on the field, and they didn't even go back to the training room. They were just there to interact with the fans immediately after the game. And so it's a great opportunity to have your kids out there that might have aspirations to play baseball. They can meet their idols. They can meet the guys that are right there in front of you. And I encourage you to come out and take advantage of that.
We're still packing up. Nobody wants our autograph.
Yeah. I pack it up and leave because, you're right. Nobody wants my autograph.
Because if we do something wrong, we're not the guys that are asking for autographs. They're like tying our shoelaces together. Come on, kids. It's okay. I'll sign that.
Exactly. So the bullpen got a C-, and only because they were just asked to do too much too long. The bullpen, you want to have Weiss coming in around the 6th, 7th inning. Like Corbin Barker set it up in the 8th, and Tristan Wolfe knocking him out in the 9th. If they could get just that,
if they could get to that fifth, which I think Chase Martinez actually did one game. He got him that far. I can't remember all the games, but I do remember it was either the first or second game we saw him pitch, and we made mention Aiden was up in the booth.
Yeah.
And Aiden had just said the night before, if we could just get somebody to go 5 or 6 innings.
And when you can do that, that's what our bullpen is designed to do. And I see it moving in that direction. Then we get to the defense. Defensively, there are some things this ball club's got to work on, and particularly the errors.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, I throw walks in under the defense category.
Okay.
And the pitching really has to get away from the walks. We had a game the other night where they issued 14 walks. You're not going to win baseball games if you're issuing walks that much.
No, because you get them on, all it takes is one hit, and now you're, instead of just a run, you're 3 runs.
And that's really a mindset issue. It's not that these guys can't find the strike zone. If it was, they wouldn't be playing at this level. I think that what it really is the pitcher trusting the defensive behind him. How many times have we seen mound visits from either the catcher or from Frank Gonzalez coming out where what is being said is, look, I know you'd love to strike everybody out. Mm-hmm. But you got 8 other guys playing defense. 7 of them are playing you behind you, and just throw strikes. If they put the ball in play, trust your defense.
There were 2 things that I noticed. One was walks, and the other was overthrows.
Yes.
And I mean, when I say overthrow, I don't mean just a small distance. I mean it's significant. And usually that is, you get excited and you move before you're set.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the games were close. It was exciting. So it's just getting those players to understand, look, if you overthrow, he's getting another base.
Yep.
You're better off if you miss it and don't get him out at first. Because the ones at first were, the overthrows were a lot more than should be.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a thing, but they can work on that.
Exactly.
They can dial that in.
None of the things that we're talking about have anything to do with, how do I put this? They have nothing to do with a lack of ability or something that the ball players are not capable of. Everything is they're capable. It's just a matter of doing what it is you're capable of. You're a pitcher, you're capable of throwing strikes. Throw strikes, trust the defense. And so, I think the ball club's going to get there.
Oh, I do too.
That's what Frank Gonzalez has been using the last 2 weeks really for, is seeing how far he can push his ball players to find out what their capabilities are, and maybe leaving a guy in too long or just wanting to see how this guy is going to perform with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. He's learned everything he needs to learn about this ball club. And when we hit the first game of the second half of the season, you're going to see a definite change in the coaching strategy and the strategy for the ball club. It's absolutely going to be geared at not talent evaluation. It's going to be geared toward utilization of talent. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do to get the wins?
Yep.
So that takes us through those categories there. ChatGPT gave us an A on how competitive we are and our base running and everything like that. So let's take a look at individual ball players.
Just to cut in here.
Yes.
Keith Burwell on Facebook commented, being an old coach as well, first pitch strikes are key, and that's not happening when they are walking 14.
You are absolutely 100% correct.
Keith, give yourself a free T-shirt. Keith has a T-shirt company.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He makes. Just want to mention that it's called Precision One. Keith, correct me if I'm wrong.
And we had him on the show for
about
we had him on a broadcast for a couple of
guys.
minutes.
So just want to mention that if you're looking for gear, he's your guy, and all the Freebirds gear comes from him. So including my groovy shirt, which I should have worn today. I didn't. I found this shirt. I just have to say this. I have looked over and over again for a shirt with fish on it. This shirt is fish. It's an entire shirt of fish. Okay, I just say it.
And they're not just fish. They're sharks. They look like little either mako or great white sharks.
Don't make me bite you. What's that if you say bite me? What? I didn't mean that. Anyway, thanks, Keith.
Keith was on a game, came up, and we chatted for about 2 or 3 innings in a game. I mean, what an awesome guy to have on the show. It was on the broadcast, and he was able to talk about everything he's been doing with the ball club, and so I really appreciate that. But getting back to his comment, you are absolutely correct. First pitch strikes. The only thing with that they need to be careful of, there was one ball club that was swinging first pitch. They assumed that they're going to try to have first pitch strikes, and they were attacking the first pitch. The first 9 hitters, each one of them swung at the first pitch of the at-bat because they were going for first pitch strikes. And it was a fluke. They got hits. They did what they did. And then it seemed that made the starting pitching gun-shy. They were afraid to go first pitch strikes. You got to trust your stuff. And we'll see how things go. But Zach Chamizo, I agree with this. Chet Jippity said Zach Chamizo is team MVP for the first half of the season. Do you agree? Agree or disagree? What do you think?
No, I agree. And he's he's quiet and unassuming, right? It's not like but then he does these things, and you go, "Oh, that was Zach Chamizo. Oh, that was Zach Chamizo." And so over and over again, whether it's batting or fielding.
Yeah.
And we saw it. He was one of the ones we saw some incredible web gems from.
Absolutely. So listen to these. You talk about, why do you think he's the MVP? Through the first half of the season, up until July 1st, so the first couple of months of the season, he was hitting .362 with a .431 on-base percentage, 54 hits, 31 runs, 33 RBIs. I think he had about 6 or 7 home runs. And then in the month of July, up until last night, he went 9 for 31. With 12 RBIs, the man just produces. And I shudder to think what the offense would be like without him in there. And we took a hit when we lost Josh Duarte the last 10 days. But those two guys as a 1-2 punch were absolutely phenomenal. And Chet Jippity had Josh Duarte as the first half offensive catalyst. He was hitting .381 with a .469 on-base percentage, 53 hits, 29 runs, and it didn't matter where you put him in the roster because he was moving all around as Gonzalez was trying to find the most optimal place to put him. But he did get hurt. It was I think it was down in Long Beach, and there was a play at third. The throw came in. There was a slide at third, and he kind of got his legs cut out from underneath him. And he went down hard, and it took a little bit for him to get up. There's something I remember about that interaction that was just a testament to sportsmanship and the kind of young man that Josh Duarte is. I say that because Jerome Williams was our pitching coach here last year.
Last year, yeah.
Williams is the pitching coach down in Long Beach. And when Duarte was down at third base, Jerome Williams came out of his dugout to go over on check on Duarte, who was his ball player last year, even though he's with the other team. There was just this feeling and sense of caring for somebody's well-being. It was kind of touching to see.
Yeah, I remember that play. I would have been surprised if he didn't get an injury because he really got knocked for a loop. He
went hard, and he stayed in. But then he came out about an inning or two later because that thing just tightened up on him. So, and he's been out ever since. But hopefully we'll get him back. First half pitching. Do you have something for us?
I do. I have another comment from Keith. Keith says he says agree with Zach. He is fun to watch. Amazing opposite field hitting, especially for a lefty.
Yes, he's shown the opposite field power, but there's something about the way Zach Chamizo bats and his philosophy at the plate. I was watching an interview with Barry Bonds, and Barry Bonds says, "Look, my philosophy when I'm hitting is this: the catcher, no matter how fast the ball is going, the catcher catches every pitch that comes in. So I'm a batter at the plate. I'm trying to do the same thing with the bat. I don't have a glove. I'm trying to catch the ball with my bat."
That's good.
And when I watch Zach Chamizo hit, you see that happening. It's like he's trying to catch the ball with his bat, and then it's not so much like he's hitting it out there. It's like he's trying to catch it and throw it out there. It almost reminds me of lacrosse. where he's trying to catch and throw that ball out there. And it feels to me like Chamizo has the ability to place the ball anywhere he wants in the outfield.
I want to talk about that for a minute, because we jokingly, I started saying, hit it where they ain't.
Yes.
And there is a real key to that, because we had teams that came against us that, buddy, they found the hole every single. It wasn't that they were just hitting; they were absolutely. And it took us a while to start doing that, because we were just hitting. Yeah. But then, like you're saying with Chamizo, he started placing it where they ain't. And I think that's going to be huge in this second half, because it's, you're just trying to hit. Now you're trying to hit it into a specific place. I think we're going to see more of that.
I think Chamizo is leading the way on that front. And we also have some new ball players that they've signed in the last 10 days. We'll talk about Kyle Carlson in just a minute, and Josh Phillips and things like that. But those are ball players that have come in to really continue that. Andrew Kirshner as well. But we talked about the offense, first half offense. The best first half pitcher. Do you agree with this one? I agree with it. What about you? Best first half pitcher in terms of stats, they have it as Corbin Barker. He has a 2.78 ERA with 31 strikeouts. He's pitched 22 and 2/3 inning, only given up 7 earned runs. For me, when I see Corbin Barker come in, I know we're going to get outs.
So I hear you, and these are, you can't argue with facts. So these are stats. So,
yes.
So he's there because of his stats.
But you're thinking of somebody else. Who are you thinking of?
Yeah, I'm thinking
Tristan Wolf.
Just because only one time did I see Wolf in the season. I saw him just wasn't up to snuff. It was like, okay, maybe he doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, he's just lights out. But again, I'm comparing Barker with the closer.
Yeah.
And that's probably not a good comparison.
Well, I think the one difference here also is when Tristan Wolf comes in, for the most part, he knows that he's only going to be called upon for 1 inning, because we don't go into extra innings here, unless Frank Gonzalez brings him in the 8th inning to get 1 out. Now he's being called upon to get a 4-out save. Mm-hmm. He's going to be pitching in the 9th.
Well, we actually saw him do a 5-out once.
We did, but he knows his end.
Yeah.
Whereas when Barker comes in, when Sean Weiss comes in, sometimes it's you need to eat up some innings, and you'll be in there for as long as we can, and might have to plan for a longer outing. And so the difference here is that if Tristan Wolf comes in, knowing that he's only going to be pitching the 1 inning, he doesn't have to leave anything in the tank. He doesn't have to keep anything reserved for another inning. He can just go ahead and throw nothing but heat the entire time. But Corbin Barker, I agree with you. I really like Chase Martinez. Just the sample size for Martinez isn't enough.
No, it's not. But if he continues, again, it goes back to we need starters that can go 5-6 innings. And then when you talk about Corbin Barker and bringing him in, it's almost like you have the starter, you have the bullpen with ones like Corbin Barker, and then you have the closer, and you really can't compare them.
Yeah.
It's literally 3 different things. But if I'm just gonna say, as a starter, I'm pretty sure Chase Martinez is going to become a key element of our starting pitching.
I agree.
Corbin Barker already is probably it is statistically
he's
our
number
1 reliever.
He's our setup
number
guy.
1. Yep.
He is our 8th inning setup guy.
Yep.
It's the way he's got it. It's going to go Weiss to Barker to Wolf. That is the optimal way to set it up. If you need to, you get Weiss. Let's say you got a pitcher that goes 5 innings. You got Weiss, gives you 6 and 7. Barker comes and pitches the 8th. Wolf mows him down in the 9th. That is the optimal way to go.
The great thing is, think about it. The stadium announcer says Barker's coming in. Once you hear the bark, the Wolf is coming.
Exactly. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and as Norm Peterson would say...
I had to say that. I couldn't resist.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, and as Norm Peterson would say on Cheers, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear. So... We just lost our engineer on that one.
Yeah.
He bowed his head in shame.
You didn't have me.
So
where's my real dad?
The breakout impact player under ChatGPT, and again, we have the stats for the entire season, and this individual is only giving us stuff for the month of July, so the last 10 days. But Andrew Kirchner.
Yeah. No
we
question.
talked about that. You referenced this, and in all honesty, the first 2 games that he pitched, he was 0 for 9. He's 0 for the first 2 games, and there was a concern there. Is he going to be able to hit? He just came. He finished his college career, and so these were his first at-bats in professional baseball.
Yeah, and you were saying he just didn't look comfortable.
He did.
He looked like he felt awkward, like something wasn't right. But when that disappeared,
I mean, once that disappeared, and that was, I think, July 4th was the game that he really broke out. And since then, everything, listen to these stats. He is hitting .424, 10 runs, 20 RBIs. He drove in 5 runs on July 4th. He drove in 4 runs on July 5th. And he had 3 runs that he drove in on July 2nd and 3rd. It's just, and the home run power. I think he's sitting at like 4 or 5 home runs now on the season. This kid has just come on majorly. And a great addition to the ball club. He plays primarily at first base, but you can put him in the outfield. He's got that arm.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a lot of errors from him, and just an amazing ball player. Really coming on well for us. Josh Phillips wins the Table Setter Award. In the final 8 games, he's got 10 walks, 8 runs. He's got an on-base percentage of .467 during that stretch. And the reason we focus on that is he's only hitting, he's got a batting average close to 200, flirting with 300, but it doesn't matter if you can get on base and set the table for the guys to knock you in behind you. Kyle Carlson gets the award for the most encouraging. Over the final 8 games, he's hitting .407 with 12 runs, 5 RBIs. He's had a 3 for 5 game on July 4th, and he's just his first 2 games at the ball club, he hit home runs first 2 games. Now, that does set an unreasonable expectation where you think he's just going to hit home runs in every game for the rest of the season.
And if he doesn't, man, now I got to walk down to the snack bar and get Cracker Jacks because I'm bored.
But we move to the next one, the under-the-radar bat in the lineup.
I agree totally with this one.
Diego Aragon.
Yeah.
And, the first couple of the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of games, he's coming in right around 200, and you're wondering, okay, is he going to turn it on? What's going to happen? Well, check out this stat line. It is 19 at-bats during the last 8 games. He's got 9 hits. He's hitting .474 with 7 RBIs. He had a 3-hit game on the 4th of July, 2 hits in each of the games on the 10th and the 8th of July, and he's become one of the more reliable bats in the lineup. So, once he got it figured out at the plate, Diego Aragon is knocking the cover off the ball and doing very well. And then probably winning the Versatility Award, Heartbeat of the Ball Club.
Yeah.
I agree with this one, too. That'd be Jordan Donahue. Just the different roles that he can play, the different places that he can play, where you can plug him into the lineup. He's been a very versatile ball player for the Freebirds and a welcome addition to the ball club. So that's where we go there. Let's talk about trends and where things are going for the ball club. Where they're headed in the right way, the wrong way, trending up for the ball club right now. We got Andrew Kirchner, Kyle Carlson, Diego Aragon, Zach Chamizo, Jordan Donahue. All of those guys have their offense numbers going in the right direction.
Yeah.
They're just headed there. Things that are trending in the wrong direction are not individual ball players. It just has to do with run prevention. That's top on the list. 98 runs were allowed over the last 8 games. That's just too much. Too much. And it's a combination of pitching, giving up too many walks, and difficulties on defense. 20 errors in the last 8 games. And again, that's not going to get it done. 5 errors in the Oakland game last night down in Oakland on July 10th. And that was a game that was very winnable going into the top of the ninth inning. They just gave up. They gave the other teams too many opportunities. And I hope, because errors are all about concentration.
Right.
And I think that they've got to get dialed in. Once we get to the second half of the season, and you get the ball club that is going to be Frank Gonzalez's ball club going in, some of the guys might be playing a little nervous right now. They've seen guys that have been with the ball club get released. Once those that are part of the final lineup stay and they know they're going to be there, maybe they can settle down, not play nervous, and hopefully we'll see the error rate go down.
I think that's what I was trying to say earlier. I think the error, it's got nothing to do with their skill set. These are great ball players, but everybody knows you get excited. It's the proverbial. I was going to catch that, but I took my eyes off it for a second because I got distracted. That's all it takes, and you're going to miss that. And, we talk about it specifically at Bryan Field.
Yeah. You
have an issue with the sun. That sun's right in their eyes, and so they're having to shield their eyes, and then you know what I mean. It's a thing, but that isn't the error we're talking about. We're talking about I got excited and I overthrew trying to get a guy out at first or second or whatever. Those are the ones that they have to dial in.
Yes, the Freebirds right now have a run differential of negative 131. That means on the season they've given up 131 more runs than they've scored. That can't.
Hang on a second.
That can't happen.
A guest has said, "I'm wearing my hat, and they would rather see my face," which I don't know why.
Well, did somebody tell you to take the hat off?
Here it is. They said they got your.
That's awesome. That's hilarious.
Oh,
I like to see that. We want to see your face, Bob.
Yeah,
we've got to see that. So the Freebirds this year, the record is what it is. They have been playing the best team in the league for just slightly less than half of their games, and they don't face that ball club again. And so hopefully things will be moving in a different direction. They have a lot of games against the Oakland Ballers, and I think they've had some success against the Ballers. It'll be curious and interesting to see how things go moving forward for the latter half of the season, not facing off against the Long Beach Coast over that run.
I think I just want to keep saying this. I love local baseball. I love this team. This team is an amazing team. So during the course of this, we're going to talk about things we don't think they're doing well.
Yep. And
we're just hoping next time we go to the ballpark that some of those bigger guys don't meet us at the gate. Because we're just trying to read the stats. But because there are things that are difficult for teams, and we're talking about a whole different level of play. And to me, that's the biggest thing. If you've not been to a Freebirds game, guys, we're saying this, but if you haven't been to the game, you need to go see why these things are happening and the level of play. Look, the Long Beach Coast, other than Cuba Bass, is not my favorite team. My favorite team is the Freebirds.
Yes.
Right? But we saw plays with the Long Beach Coast and other teams, the Red Pocket Mobiles. There were some plays. It's like, look, these, I don't care what team it is, these are great baseball players.
Yes.
And worth watching. So,
yeah, and look, if the issue is the ball club, boy, we got to get more guys that can hit home runs. I have called play-by-play for teams in the past where the issue was they're not hitting enough home runs, they're not scoring enough runs, and that's a hard thing to overcome. If you don't have the horses, you just don't have the horses. That's not the issue here. The issue here with the ball club is something that's very correctable, and that is not giving up the number of runs. And I think this team can get that worked out. They can get it dialed in.
I do too.
And they've shown that ability to do it.
If somebody said, Fish, do you have an actual disappointment with Freebirds baseball? And I would say, well, it's.
Aside from the fact that he doesn't call up to the booth to ask what you would do.
Yeah, Frank, we got to get him on that. No, it's because I'm one of those guys. I want to see players stay.
Yes.
And we can't think that way because we actually want them to make it. We lost our best pitcher.
Yes.
Early. He went to the Washington Nationals.
He did.
And it's like, so guys, I'm just telling you, it's okay to get attached to these guys and just love, oh man, I love his play. But if Josh Duarte got picked up next week, even injured, I would not be shocked. And I just think it's something you get used to. But the team, it's our town, our team. And so though they got to make changes, well, and, they have us always.
Yeah. Well, and to that end, that's one thing that I wanted to point out also is I know that there's a sentiment sometimes where you've got folks like, well, look, we used to be the team here. It used to be the Gold Sox, and then it was the Drakes, and then and the wondering, skeptical about the team that's here. And the one thing I see about this ball club that I really like is we've got an ownership group that is absolutely invested.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
If you question that, you need to come out to the ballpark just to see the improvements that have been made.
Oh.
The improvements that they have made at the ballpark, the big screen out in right field, the paint, the clubhouse now for the ball players, that's where the old Huss Brothers Parts Warehouse used to be. If you see that, you come away thinking this: there's no way that they're making all those improvements as an ownership group if they're planning on leaving next year. That's not in the cards.
Yeah.
This is an ownership group and a league that is committed to the Marysville area. You can trust that. So come out and take a look at what they're putting together. I guarantee you'll be blown away by your ballpark experience for the game. But you have to come and see it in person and experience it.
And we've had one of the owners that is really the local one, that's Lon Hatamea. We've had him up in the booth.
Oh yeah.
And we certainly, if you're there and you want to come up and say hi, you're more than welcome to do that. And because we just really, it's community. And so we appreciate that. But if you sit down and you talk to Lon Hatamea, the thing I like is as you're talking to him, he's telling you, well, we need to do this or this could change. But he lights up because he's talking about baseball. And I remember my first interview with him, I said, hey, Lon, what's it like to be the owner of a team? And he said to me, it's a dream come true.
Oh, yeah.
And that says a lot for the owners group that has brought this particular brand of baseball. The Pioneer League is way more than I expected. They have gone way beyond my expectations.
5 years ago, if you had said the Pioneer League will be playing baseball in Marysville, a lot of people said, "Nah, no way, come on." That's a Major League Baseball affiliated league. They don't not affiliated with any team, but they get sponsored from Major League Baseball. And here we are 5 years later, and we have it for our second year. And you really have to come out and see what it is we're talking about. Because if you come out and experience it and meet the ball players and see the quality baseball and just have a great night at the ballpark, it's just a great way to spend a couple of hours on a Monday, not Mondays, but a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
Monday.
It's Monday's the only day that they're off. It's money well spent, and you're going to enjoy yourself coming out here.
When are they back?
They are back a week from Tuesday. They've got another week on the road. And so a week from this Tuesday is when they're back in. That would be this Tuesday's the 14th. They're back on the 21st. Next weekend, next Friday and Saturday, the 17th to the 18th, is when they have the tryout camp that's here. That'll be for the Pioneer League as well. And
we'll try to get some of that broadcast for you folks, one way or the other work. And I don't know if Home Team Network will carry that.
It might be hard for them to carry that, but maybe we can, if we get permission from the league, maybe we can do a Facebook Live or something like that.
Try to get that so people can see the players coming in.
Here we go. Maybe we can do next week's sports update show from the ballpark.
I think we can do that, and then I'll have to get with our camera guy, but I'm sure that there's a way to get that camera a shot, even if it isn't instantaneous. We can't get right on Facebook. We may be able to, once it's done, run it for people on 93QTV and then on Facebook so they'd get to see it.
Sounds good. That'll be a lot of fun. So, that should do it for our update here for the Freebirds. A lot of things to look forward to in the second half of the season. It's I think the team is getting dialed in where we need it to be, and I think you're going to see a definite uptick in the win column as Frank Gonzalez gets this team dialed in to really make a push at winning the second half championship so they can make it to the playoffs in September.
I do want to say that Aiden, our chili fry guy, is on assignment. So he's on assignment in Greece. But chili fries, Greece. I'm just saying there's something to be said for that.
I didn't know that chili cheese fries were part of the Mediterranean diet, but I guess that's an amendment. Sure.
But he'll be back with us.
Sounds good. He'll be back when we are back on the 21st?
Yep, he'll be back, and all three of us will be up in the booth with the normal carnage.
Sounds good. Well, Bob, I'll let you go ahead and take us out to finish the show off here.
Well, I want to literally read this sign-off because it concludes what we've talked about very well. That's our Freebirds mid-season report. The first half showed us the ceiling, the flaws, and the personalities of this club. Now we get to find out how much they can grow over the final half of the 2026 season. Thanks for watching, folks.